The Trees. Adrienne Rich.
The Trees is a poem by Adrienne Rich. The poem explores the relationship between nature and human confinement, symbolizing the desire for freedom and the conflict between man and nature. The poem describes trees confined within a house, striving to break free and return to their natural habitat, the forest. The roots work to disengage from the cracks in the veranda floor, the leaves press against the glass, and the branches stretch out, all yearning for liberation. This imagery reflects the broader theme of nature's resistance against human-imposed limitations and the inevitable urge to reclaim freedom.
What is the central idea of the poem The Trees?
The central idea is the conflict between man and nature. The poem illustrates how nature, represented by the trees, resists confinement and seeks to return to its natural state, highlighting the consequences of human attempts to control and domesticate the natural world.
Where are the trees in the poem, and what do their roots and leaves do?
In the poem, the trees are inside the poet's house. Their roots work to free themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor, and the leaves exert pressure towards the glass, indicating their desire to break free and move towards the light.
Why does the poet compare the branches to newly discharged patients?
The poet compares the branches to newly discharged patients to illustrate their eagerness and struggle to break free from confinement. Just as patients are eager to leave the hospital and return to normal life, the branches strive to escape the confines of the house and return to their natural environment.
How does the poem The Trees present a conflict between man and nature?
The poem presents a conflict between man and nature by depicting trees confined indoors for decoration, symbolizing how humans attempt to control and domesticate nature. The trees' struggle to break free and return to the forest signifies nature's resistance to human confinement and its inherent desire for freedom.
What is the significance of the changing description of the moon in the poem?
At the beginning of the third stanza, the poet describes the full moon shining in the open sky. By the end, the moon appears broken like a mirror, with its pieces shining in the crown of the tallest oak tree. This change signifies the movement of the trees outside, altering the landscape and the perception of the moon, symbolizing the transformative power of nature reclaiming its space.
Why is the poet writing long letters? Why does she not mention the departure of the trees?
The poet is writing long letters, possibly to keep herself occupied. She does not mention the departure of the trees in her letters because she prefers to keep their rebellion and escape from captivity a secret. The trees' silent struggle at night to break free symbolizes a desire for liberation, and the poet chooses not to disclose this to anyone.
What happens to the house when trees move out of it?
As the trees move out, their efforts cause the glass walls to break due to the pressure exerted by various parts like leaves and twigs. The roots, in their attempt to free themselves, leave cracks in the veranda floor. Despite their departure, the smell of lichens and leaves lingers in the house, reminiscent of the presence of the trees.
What are the three things that can't happen in a treeless forest?
In a treeless forest, the following cannot occur. Birds cannot sit on branches. Insects cannot hide among the foliage. The sun cannot cast shadows through the canopy.
In the poem The Trees, where are the trees? What are their roots, twigs, etc., trying to do?
In the poem, the trees are confined inside the house. Their roots are attempting to disengage from the cracks in the veranda floor, leaves are straining towards the glass, and small twigs and boughs are moving towards the doors. Collectively, the trees are striving to escape the confines of the house and return to the forest.
What is the central idea of the poem The Trees?
The central idea of the poem is the conflict between man and nature, highlighting how human confinement of nature leads to its rebellion and eventual return to its natural state.
The trees inside are moving out into the forest. The forest that was empty all these days. Where no bird could sit. No insect hide. No sun bury its feet in shadow. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. Where are the trees in the beginning? The trees are inside the poet's house, confined for decoration. Why was the forest empty? The forest was empty because the trees were uprooted and confined indoors. What does the phrase "no sun bury its feet in shadows" mean? The phrase means that there were no trees in the forest to cast shadows, so the sun's rays directly touched the ground. What change will occur in the forest by morning? By morning, the forest will be filled with trees that have broken free and returned to their natural habitat. Identify the poetic device in the line "no sun bury its feet in shadow." The poetic device used is personification. The sun is described as burying its feet.
Extract 2. My head is full of whispers, which tomorrow will be silent. Listen. The glass is breaking. The trees are stumbling forward. Into the night. Winds rush to meet them. The moon is broken like a mirror. Its pieces flash now in the crown of the tallest oak. What are the whispers in the poet's head? The whispers represent the poet's thoughts about the silent yet powerful rebellion of the trees breaking free. What is the significance of the glass breaking? The breaking glass symbolizes the force and determination of the trees as they escape their confinement. How are the trees moving out? The trees are moving out into the night, stumbling as they struggle to free themselves from the house. What poetic device is used in "the moon is broken like a mirror"? The poetic device used is simile. The moon is compared to a broken mirror. Explain the imagery in "its pieces flash now in the crown of the tallest oak." The imagery creates a visual effect of the moonlight scattering and shining brightly on the tallest oak tree, symbolizing freedom and beauty.
Extract 3. It is night. The trees are breaking out of their cages, and the leaves strain towards the glass. Small twigs stiff with exertion. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof. Like newly discharged patients. Half-dazed, moving. To the clinic doors. What does breaking out of their cages imply? Breaking out of their cages implies the trees struggle to escape from human-imposed confinement indoors. How do the leaves and twigs contribute to the struggle? The leaves and twigs exert pressure on the glass and attempt to move outward, symbolizing their desire for freedom. Why does the poet compare the boughs to newly discharged patients? The boughs are compared to newly discharged patients to emphasize their weakened yet determined effort to break free. What does the phrase "half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors" suggest? The phrase suggests a tentative and unsteady movement toward freedom, akin to patients adjusting to life outside the clinic. Identify and explain a metaphor in the extract. The metaphor is breaking out of their cages, where the house is metaphorically described as a cage confining the trees.